All right, hey students, welcome to D2L, our homepage. I'm going to try and keep this a little short. This is the second time I recorded it and the other one was really long, so keep me honest here. This is what you'll see when you come into D2L. Everything I show you here is going to be slightly different because I'm a teacher and you're a student, but it should give you the general idea. If I go into student mode, it really doesn't show you much difference, but at any rate, when you come in, be aware that the first thing you should see is announcements. I do expect you to be aware of what's happening in announcements. Oftentimes I'm giving you instructions on how to do assignments, how to better understand them. I try not to be too long. I do create one video announcement a week that is under 5 minutes, and I would expect you to listen to that. You can listen to me on 2x mode. I don't care, but please listen to that. And then I'll give you what to expect, as well as a reminder for homework that's due, with links in there, so you can just kind of click through that. If you're a student over here, it also tells you what's due coming up. All right, so the way I organized all this is through content. So I'm going to show you the week 1. So there is in every module, there's going to be the dates, the topic, and there's going to be these 3 submodules, excuse me, learn, assess, practice. For some, you'll also have a third one, which is resources, and I'll go into what that is later. So learn is what I would expect you do first. These are going to be videos, links to textbooks, online textbooks, or other articles that I want you to read. Some handouts, things like that. I would expect you to go through all of that before you do anything more. Just a note on the textbook. So there's one main textbook listed for this course, the OpenStax writing guide with handbook, I think. That is the main textbook, but it didn't have everything I wanted in it. So I kind of borrowed from some other online textbooks. All of them will be free. All of the links will be within whatever section that you're supposed to read it for. So you won't have to go looking for those ever. You just click on the link and follow it. So let's click on this week. Here it is, chapter 4. You're going to read all through that, okay? Okay, let's go back here. So learn is what you do first. I would recommend you put aside some time, I don't know, Sundays, maybe even Saturday through Wednesday to get all of that done. Everything you do from this point onward, the assess and the practice, I'm going to expect that you know everything in here, okay? So make sure you do that thoroughly. Every week we'll have a quiz. Just a note, the quizzes go over all of the learning materials, okay? I give you 2 tries on every quiz. Some of them are going to be written responses, a lot of written responses. Some of them will be hardly any written responses. It'll be mostly multiple choice, things like that. What you do need to know is that D2L will automatically grade multiple choice, but it will not automatically grade written responses. So if you have a quiz that has some written response or mostly written response, that won't give you your real grade until I come in and I look at it and actually grade it, okay? So I mentioned you have 2 tries. I couldn't think what they're called, 2 attempts. The 2 attempts will keep your answers on the multiple choice, but it will not on written responses. So you're going to need to copy and paste that. Please do not write me something like answered on first quiz. I will not go and look at that, okay? Please copy your response and put it into your second quiz. I kind of feel like that's nice of me to give you a second option or a chance to take it again, and I kind of, yeah, so please continue to let me do that, and you partly do that by being aware that you will have to copy and paste your written responses, okay? So you do your learning materials, you come in and do your quiz, that will be due Wednesday, and then Thursday through Saturday you're going to be doing whatever's in this practice, or hopefully you're doing this throughout. Most weeks that will include a class, or not class introduction, a discussion board of some kind, and a homework piece of some kind. For discussion boards, I'm going to click on this one. For grading, I'm looking for your initial post that you've answered all of the questions thoroughly. So in most cases that means complete sentences, thoroughly explaining your ideas, things like that. For this first one, I recognize that I have 2 questions at least, or maybe even 3, where you could just say 1 or 2 words. That's okay, but if it's something like, what are your strengths and weaknesses as a writer? Please don't put like grammar and goals or something, right? Like, please thoroughly explain that. And then I'll have some indication of what you need to do when you respond. For this initial one, I want you to look at 2 of your peers' posts and respond to, you know, something you have in common, or something you thought was interesting on their post, some sort of substantial kind of conversation looking piece. So that will be, I'm looking at all of that in order to get a good grade. That is what I'm considering as part of your in class, like your attendance, right? So if you don't come, if you don't post to discussion boards in a timely manner and frequently, that's what I'm going to start look at to say you probably need to get dropped from the course if you miss more than 4. So please keep up with those. Then you'll always have some sort of homework assignment. Actually, I'll take that back. You don't always. If you have if a paper due that week, I'm going to reduce what you have to do as far as either assess or practice, because you're doing a paper, right? So I'll try and keep that in mind, or I do try and keep that in mind. But this first week, I want you to do a homework assignment. So if you click on that, it'll take you to a Google Doc assignment. I understand. Anyway, so you'll need to go in here and download this, fill it out, follow directions, and then you'll go back to D2L. And I believe when you click on this, it'll bring up something where you can upload a file. But if it doesn't, then you go to course activities and assignments and look for semester startup scavenger hunt, and that's where you post your responses. Okay, almost done here. Last thing I wanted to show you is on week 2. So I have a couple of these where I have weeks that have resources. So if I post something in Learn, I'm expecting you to read it, to watch it, thoroughly know it. That's what I'm going to be using to create your quizzes. So you should know what's going on there. If it's in resources, it's either something that's optional for you to look at, or that you need to complete an assignment, like is the case for these first, with genre example. You're going to need to look at those for one of your assignments. And you don't have to know, like, I'm not going to ask you specific questions about the content of the essay really necessarily. You don't have to thoroughly read these, just kind of get an idea of what's happening in them. The other reason I'll put things in resources, so either it's optional, you're using it as a resource for an assignment, or you have some choice. So for this one, I'm going to ask you to take some sort of quiz that has to do with goal setting. You can pick one of these. So that's why it's in resources, because it's, you know, some choice. Okay, that's all I have. Please reach out for questions. If you're not sure how to navigate how to upload assignment, I would highly recommend VTAC support. I won't click on that again because that won't show you the same thing. But they have all of these, lots of answers to your questions in there. And then also be aware that your grades are in here. I very highly encourage you to check those frequently. Let me know if there's anything that's off for you, because it's helpful for me to know that right away. Most of the time I get things in within a week and it's good, but once in a while I miss something, so I'm okay with you reaching out. I didn't really go over these. I just wanted to show you course resources. I have some links to things that might be helpful to you as well, so please look through that as well. These are like how to specifically do things, stuff like that. Okay, that's it. Have a good day.